How's it going, guys? It's Paradise, and we have a new video with lots of new information about a game that you might know as Project A, but has actually now been announced as Valorant. So let me know down in the comments below if you are excited for Valorant, and drop a subscribe for more videos like this one. So with the obvious name reveal, we also have the release date, that being summer 2020, and we've actually seen some alpha gameplay footage as well as some exclusive gameplay footage that we're going to talk about and look over all of the new things that's within them. So the game is essentially a tactical hero shooter, a mixture of Overwatch and CSGO, and they are really trying to push the competitive side of this, so we have some very technical information that is quite important when you get onto a competitive scene in these types of games. The first thing we need to talk about is the game server quality and infrastructure. They really are focusing and fighting against peeker's advantage, which is a very prominent issue in a lot of games where essentially the person that pushes, that peeks and shoots first often has a slight bit of latency on their side. That means the defending player simply cannot turn and react in time to combat that. So it's a huge focus for Riot Games in Valorant. And what they're doing to fight against this is adding dedicated 128 tick servers that are going to be free for everyone. They also are going to upsample player movement to 128 FPS, so that even if your opponent is lagging, it will automatically upscale their movement so they're not stuttering around and they don't come around a corner before you see them. In addition to this, they are dedicated to get 70% of players globally at less than 35 millisecond ping, which is going to be really interesting. Now, to achieve this, Riot Games have actually been working with ISPs since 2014 to set up peer-to-peer arrangements with points of presence in over 35 cities around the world. The final result means that they are dedicated to this 35 ms ping for at least 70% of players, and they have the ability to repair broken routes, load balance the congested routes, add new circuits, and serve more players in the future. So they are really trying to push for some very good ping, as well as to fight against peeker advantage as much as possible. The next technical aspect that we need to talk about is their anti-cheat. They're working really hard to obviously combat cheaters, as it's going to be a competitive game, and they actually have an in-engine wallhack solution, which is supposed to combat wallhacking where you simply can't see players until they are in or very near line of sight. So through buildings across the map, even if someone manages to get in the game with a wallhack, they still shouldn't be able to actually see you until you're either in or very close to line of sight, like just behind a corner rather than on the other side of a building completely. They also have set up the game architecture in such a way that it should be impossible for a player to cheat in game-defying ways, such as speed hacks or teleportation hacks. So we'll have to see how that one goes. And Riot Games also have the proprietary Vanguard cheat detection, so that if you're in a game with a cheater, it will immediately end and all players will be forgiven. So they're really pushing to sort out the cheater problem, the lag problem, the peeker's advantage problem, all the technical things that go into making a game like this not fun to play. So it's really good to see a huge focus on these different elements. But with all of that out the way, we can actually go on to some interesting things about the characters, abilities, the purchase screen, and everything else. So first, we're going to start with the global cast of agents, because in this game, the agents are actually from real-world locations and cultures all around the world. It's a diverse cast. They are actually hypernatural, battle-ready agents, and they're coming together to respond to a large existential threat with catastrophic, world-altering consequences on the line. So that's a bit of lore about the agents, and we do actually have two new agents to talk about that have since been revealed in all of this new gameplay that we've seen. The first one is apparently called Sova. It's apparently a Russian character. She is sort of a bow and arrow scout-style character. The abilities that we've seen so far seem to be a electric arrow where she shoots and it explodes a large AoE electric kind of field. The next ability we've seen is a sort of Hanzo-style sonic arrow from Overwatch, where she shoots it and it pulses for a few seconds, and any players that are in that pulse essentially get wallhacked by the team that shot it. You can see them through the walls quite easily as long as they're within that AoE. It does seem to have a 35-second cooldown, and it's hard to know, but it looks like if you're blocking line of sight from the actual arrow where it lands, that you might not actually get the wallhack effect on you. Within the gameplay itself, we can see the devs are actually lining the wall between them and the arrow on each pulse, and I'm presuming that means that they don't get seen as long as they stay behind cover. She also, quite interestingly, has a drone that she can send out and fly up into the air to spot and scout different enemies. So she looks very interesting. Obviously, it seems to have some similarities with Hanzo from Overwatch. The next character is Phoenix, and he is a fire-focused character. Now, we only have gameplay of one of his abilities, which is where he sort of channels a fireball in his hand and throws it, and it smashes on the ground, leaving flames there. Very similar to a Molotov from CSGO, a very good crowd control move to throw it in a choke point or to stop enemies from camping in a particular room. So that's the only ability that we can actually see, but there is some information out there on what his other abilities might be, we just don't have the gameplay to back it up. So his other abilities is to cast out a wall of fire that blocks vision and damages enemies that pass through it, as well as his signature ability, which is apparently called Curveball, to cast a curving flare that bursts into a bright light after a brief delay, blinding people. So it looks like Phoenix might have a built-in flashbang and Molotov in his kit. Apparently his ultimate as well marks a location, and if you die during the ability's duration, then you actually get reborn, kind of like a phoenix, you know how they die and get reborn. So his ultimate seems to be some kind of self-res based on a timer. So he sounds really interesting, super utility focused, and very, very strong. Again, we haven't got any concrete, visible gameplay of those abilities, so maybe they'll change, maybe they aren't his abilities, but that is the most up-to-date information we have to go on for Phoenix. Also, you can see on the screen now there is this screenshot that looks like some sort of orbital bombardment. Apparently, this is another character's ultimate that does damage in a big area. We don't know if this does actually completely kill other agents, or if this just damages them, or if it slows them, similar to some of the Apex characters' airstrikes. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Next, we can talk about the purchase screen, which is to do with the in-game economy, very similar to CSGO. We can actually see some of the prices on different things, and a new feature which looks really, really handy, where you can request for a teammate to buy you an item. For those that are familiar with CSGO, if you are low on money and your opponent has been getting loads of kills and they have lots more money than you during that round, you can ask them to drop you a weapon or a pistol or a sniper or whatever it is you want. In this, it looks like they've simplified that, and you can actually request it from a teammate, and they can simply click a button and it will buy it for them, so you don't have to fiddle around with buying it in the menu and dropping it for them. It also looks like there are some callouts as well, so you can tell your team if you think you should buy, save, or if you have extra credits in case they want to buy something that they can't afford. So rather than having to communicate that via in-game chat or text chat, you can actually do it through the menus, which looks quite nice. Within the actual purchase screen, we can see a variety of sidearms. We can actually see the stats for the Frenzy pistol, which looks like an automatic pistol. It looks like there's also a revolver, which is going to be similar to the Deagle, I believe. There's also a Shorty, which is a sawn-off kind of shotgun as a secondary, quite interesting, along with two pistols, the Classic and the Ghost. Then we have two SMG options, the Stinger and the Spectre, two shotgun options, the Bucky and the Judge. We have several rifle options, including the Bulldog, the Guardian, the Phantom, and the Vandal. It looks like the Vandal might be the most similar one to the AK. There's also two snipers, the Marshal and the Operator. The Operator, looking at the price of it, seems to be equivalent to an AWP in CS. It will probably be a one-hit kill to the body. We have two heavy weapons as well, Ares and Odin. I like those names. And then interestingly, instead of armor and helmet, it looks like we have shields with the option for a light shield and a heavy shield. Heavy probably costing more. It is important to note some of the things were already purchased on this, so we don't actually know the prices for them, but we can get a good idea from all the other pricing that's on there. We do already know that abilities are purchasable. Again, within the gameplay, they've already been purchased, so we can't see the prices, but they would be purchased on this screen as well at the bottom. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this purchase menu and the price spread of all the different weapons on here. It's definitely going to be interesting to see if this changes, as of course this is alpha gameplay. But moving on, we can actually talk about the ultimates a little bit. So within the gameplay, we can actually see that to get your ultimate, you have 6 charges down at the bottom. Of course, throughout this gameplay, they're already half charged for some people or fully charged for others. But in this one specific clip, we can see that when this character places down the toxic wall, it grants them a charge and activates their ultimate. This is really interesting because in the same gameplay when other characters use an ability, it does not give them a charge to their ultimate. And in fact, when another character gets a kill, it does give them a charge. So it could be that certain characters have to cast an ability 6 times to get their ultimate, or that other characters have to get kills to grant the charges for their ultimate, or it could be a mixture of both. We'll have to wait and see how that develops. But it was really interesting to watch, and I suggest that you guys watch the alpha gameplay and pay attention to the ultimate charges to see how it changes for the different characters. So in our last video for Project A, now Valorant, we did talk about the preparation zones. In this, you can actually see them now. It is like a blue force field that eventually drops and starts the round, which is quite cool to see. It's also interesting to see that some surfaces are actually able to shoot through and kill people through. It's also interesting to see that there is some kind of directional indicator to show where the enemies are. This could be linked to a character or an ability, I'm not quite sure, but there is this little white indicator in the center that sort of points you towards the enemy team. We'll have to wait and see to learn more about that one. Interestingly enough as well, there is a stat screen after you die that shows you where you got shot and how much damage you took, as well as how much damage you dealt to the enemy team, which is really, really nice to see. We've also seen that when you are standing in the poison effects, it drains your health or shields, it's hard to tell, very rapidly, but it doesn't actually kill you, it leaves you on 1 HP if you've gone all the way down to 1. So it looks like this particular ability with the poison toxic gas doesn't actually kill you and finish you off, but it will lower your health while you stay in it and leave you with that 1 HP, which is probably going to be any weapon type will kill you at that point. And finally, it looks like the defuse timer is roughly 6 or 7 seconds. We haven't seen any defuse kits or anything like that on the purchase screen, so we'll have to see how that goes as well. But from my testing there, it looked like it was 6 to 7 seconds to defuse the bomb. So guys, that is pretty much all the new stuff rounded up, all of the interesting things I spotted in all the new gameplay and everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. Comment down below what you think of all of this information and what you think of Valorant. Also, let me know if you preferred Project A or if you prefer Valorant as the name for the game. I really did actually think Project A was quite a cool name. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.
I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and also click on the little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. Also, don't forget, you can check out TwoSixNine and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. Be sure to drop by and get involved. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.